Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and it is Tuesday, which means it is definitely a tournament announcement day. Definitely would like to draw your attention to the bottom of the screen. That is my social media information, so if you would like to follow me or subscribe to any of those outlets, or even just contact me on Facebook, you can do so by using those links below. Before we get into the actual tournament announcement, I do want to bring your attention to something specific that we started on the 19th hole, and that is the new 19th hole expert tournament page. We started it up last week. As you can see, we've already got 1.3 thousand members in here, and this is a page that's completely about tournaments. So if we scroll down this page here, what you're going to see is different holes and different shot options for these different holes, complete with write-ups on how to play them, what adjustments to make, videos, pictures that have arrows pointing to where you want the rings located, all kinds of good stuff like that, ball spins, and everything you can think of. The coolest thing about this page is the built-in popular post topics here, which allows you to go into any specific hole. So we have the ability to tag these posts with specific hole numbers. So, we can have all of hole 4 or hole 5 in one specific spot. So if you click see all, it's going to bring up all of the different topics. And let's just say we want to find out what shots are available for hole number 1 from this last tournament. We click 1, it's going to bring up this post here. This one right here was Thor 5 option. So it's going to break down the Thor 5 way to play this hole. Ball, spin, adjustment, complete with still pictures and video. And if we scroll down the page, as you can see, here is our very own Alex Wheels. She included a little snippet as to if you go into that bunker on that first shot, and how to find that funnel and how to play this shot if you end up in the bunker. You keep scrolling down, you're going to find the APOC 5 and Kingmaker adjustment here with all the good information. And then even farther down, this one right here is if you want to use your extra mile or APOC 5 plus. So, we did this kind of stuff for all of the holes, and we tried to find different options for each of these holes that would include anybody that was playing expert with, any types of clubs, really, pretty much. So from this main page right here, if you click on this area that says the 19th hole expert tournament page, you click on that right there, it's going to bring you to this information page, and we have recommended by admins. Now this is a place where you can actually find all the other 19th hole community resources. We have the same type of page for pro, so you can do that. Pro here, the first one, and then we have a tournament page that's just for like fun regular tournaments, and then we have our main page right there, and you can join very easily from this location. So that is that's all we're going to do as far as talking about this, but it's definitely something new to the community and something that I wanted you all to have access to if you want. It does not, there's nothing required to be part of the expert or pro page on the 19th hole. You don't have to be a member of the 19th community or their clan system to be part of these pages and use these resources. So let's get back to talking about the tournament at hand. It is, as I said already, the 3rd anniversary tournament. It's going to start on January 20th, which is next Monday. They do one of these every year, and this is the time that they had one from last year as well. As always, you got 4 divisions of play. This is not a special major tournament or anything, so the banners will be the same, and all of the prizes are the same as well. Rookie, pro, expert, master. Depends on what level of weekly bracket you are in will determine what you can play as far as tournament level goes. So if you're only in weekly pro brackets, you can only play pro and rookie. If you're an expert, you can play expert, pro, or rookie. But do keep in mind that you will be matched up with those in the same type of bracket. So if you're in an expert 2 bracket and you say, I don't have the coins, or I'm just not going to have the time, and you can play rookie still, but you're still going to be matched up with people in expert 1, 2, and 3 weekly brackets. So it's not like you're just going to get to go play the rookie players in the rookie division and rookie leagues. So they keep it fair like that. The prizes, as you see here on the screen, are the prizes for first place if you win gold on the weekend, and then those prizes do scale down. Do keep in mind You can win kind of tour chests throughout the week playing in these tournaments. Each time you win a match, you win a chess. Rookie is Tour 3, Pro Tour 6, Expert Tour 9, Masters Tour 12. And these chests do seem to have a little bit more to offer as far as club cards go, as far as the amount of cards go, compared to what you win in the tour play. These are the rules for each division. Rookie plays from the first tee, Pro and Expert play from the second tee, Masters play from the third tee. As you can see, the wins do increase depending on what division you play in, as do the needle speeds. And then you have the hidden spin, the Expert and Masters, which just means you can't see when someone makes an adjustment for their spin, and you're not going to be able to see their ball guide when they're lining their shot up. You will be able to see that in the Rookie and the Pro division. These are the courses that make up the 3rd anniversary tournament course. We got Southern Pines, Port Othello Cove, and Drumore Links. And as you can see, they took some holes from each of those courses, combined them together for the 3rd anniversary tournament. And if you are wanting to play these holes in tour play, if you wanted to try to practice some, you can go in, to the game now and see, as far as tours go, where these courses are located. But on Thursday, the 16th of January, they will all be in these locations. So if you want to play the Drumore Links, you can play them in tours 4 and 11. Port Othello Cove will be available on tours 5 and 12. And Southern Pines will be available on tours 6 and 9. So if you want to try to get in on the action, get a little bit of practice, those are the tours that you need to play in to have a chance to find these holes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually look at these holes 1 through 9. We're going to quickly talk about the elevation, and then just from what I remember from previous times, some of the possible strategies that we could maybe use during our practice, and then just keep in our mind once the tournament rolls around. So I'm going to pause it right here, and we'll start in just a second. All right, so we got hole number 1 here from Southern Pines, and this is a hole that we have seen, quite a bit in tournament play. Most recently, we saw it in the East Coast tournament, and also the Southern Pines 9-hole course. As you can see, this is a par 3, and this is one that we play at plus 10% for our elevation. In the second tee, the Pro and the Expert, we usually play it with the wood or the driver if we have some sort of a headwind. You usually play the shot to bounce somewhere in this area, and depending on the type of wind and club, you're going to use right spin and either a little tiny bit of top spin, or with like the wood club, or if you're using a driver, you're going to use backspin. And really just trying to catch this hill where it goes up the hill and back down to the hole. It's definitely a very touchy hole, because if you go too far up this hill, your ball could kind of filter that way. Or if you kind of great left it, then you can go up the hill and miss it short. So this is a finicky hole. It's one that definitely relies on the proper adjustment depending on what kind of wind that we have. Like if we have a left to right wind, you're going to use not as much right spin. You maybe use like 4 or 5 bars. But if you have like a right to left tailwind or side wind, then you're going to use like your full right spin. There was also a no moving target shot on this hole last time from what I remember. So definitely keep your eyes on the community pages once the tournament starts, and also the 19th hole tournament page, expert page, where you're going to be able to find information on this hole pretty soon after the tournament starts as well. It's definitely a great place to definitely check often during tournament week. So plus 10% here, and a fun little hole here. With the rookie division, you're going to be playing this one most likely with like your Viper or your Sniper, and possibly you could use a long iron depending on what kind of wind we have. So it'll be interesting to see, and we'll just have to see what kind of wind we have. Hole number 2 is a par 4. And this one right here, last was seen in the East Coast tournament, Southern Pines 9-hole cup as well. We've just just recently had this one in the East Coast Cup, as I said. And you have a few different options. You can either play it to the right side, where you try to bounce it off this fairway and roll it up to the right side here, or you can play it to the left side, where you try to roll your shot to this zone right here. Or you could try to go even a little bit farther and try to bounce it farther up the fairway to that area. So you have lots of different options here. This far left location, you're going to be trying to play some sort of a rough bump shot. If you could play to that middle location, then you're looking at more of a short iron shot to the hole, and the far right location is a wood shot to the hole. So for the drive here on this hole, we're playing plus 10%. On this right hand side, we're playing plus 10%. And then also from this left hand side, this shot right here to the rough, the elevations tend to sometimes change somewhat, from anywhere from plus 10 to 0%, even minus 5% at times. And the reason it does that is because sometimes when you have these winds, we're factoring in these winds into the elevation. That way you don't have to worry about any kind of an offset, and you can just go straight at the hole. So instead of trying to offset your ball guide from the hole and trying to figure that out, you can just go straight at the hole, and we can actually factor in that offset into the elevation. So that's when you see holes and the elevations are changing, that can definitely be part of the reason why you'll see that from tournament to tournament. Hole number 3. This is a hole that I have not seen for quite a while in tournaments. I want to say, it was somewhere back like in 2018 where we saw this hole last time. I want to say it may even been what tournament was it? Maybe I would have had this in the Southern Pines 9 hole. I think we had it in the Southern Pines 9 hole, but I know for sure I think it was Labor Day tournament, like 2018. It's been quite a while. We're playing the drive at plus 10%. If we have a nice tailwind, we can bounce our shot over here and roll up this fairway a pretty good distance, and that's really what we're hoping we can do. If we get a really nice tailwind in the expert division, you can play a power curl shot that comes in and bounces and takes you way up the fairway that way. If you have some sort of headwind, you could possibly play it up to the right hand side here. And that's only if you're going to have a good tailwind for your second shot to go over with a very long wood club like your Big Dog or your Cataclysm. Most likely, playing it to the right hand side is not going to be the way to play this one, and we're going to end up somewhere up the second fairway with a second shot with our sniper, either probably bouncing in this location right here, or in higher level divisions we could also be going for the rough bump right there if we are far enough up and have that option to play as well. For the second shots, I'd be playing about 10%, plus 10% for those second shots. Hole number 4, and this is Porthello Cove. We had this one in the Coastal Classic, the Summer Major, and then our last, the second anniversary tournament. Plus 15% is the adjustment for this one. You can play a bounce shot off the fairway here. You can play a shot with some backspin off the fairway here, and you could even go for a rough bump right here, which I felt like was one of the most popular ways to play this hole last time we had this hole. But it was definitely one of the more dangerous ways to play this hole as well. So those are definitely the options there, plus 15%, and it should definitely be a fun one once we get it in the tournament. Hole number 5 right here, and this one right here, Porthello Cove, plus 10% off the drive here. As long as we don't get some sort of a headwind, we will be bouncing our shot off this fairway either up here to this zone, or if we get enough tailwind and you have a driver or a club with enough topspin, you can bounce it off this fairway and roll it up to this next fairway. And from those locations, you either have a thorn shot here, or from here, you can try to play some sort of a rough bump off of the rough and use that topspin and try to roll into the hole that way. It's definitely a very tough hole to play. I think the best chance you have to drop it is from up here to the far right, but it's definitely a much riskier place to be. So you'll need like an APOC or a Thor with a lot of topspin. That's if we have a good wind on the drive, or even going to the Big Topper will give you the option with its topspin to be able to roll up that fairway and into that third cut as well. So those are all options. And then you always have the shot where you can bounce it off the cliff to the green if you're feeling adventurous. So definitely a very fun and interesting hole here. And the elevation for the second shot is 0% if you're playing it for the rough bump. Hole number 6, another Porthello Cove hole. And this one right here, we're playing plus 10% off the tee box. And you either can play it to the left-hand side, this way, where you either, I think, bounce it off here and over, or if you have the tailwind, you can land it here and try to get farther up here to the right-hand side. So, those are basically your options to the left. The other option on this hole is to play it kind of up here to the right and try to play it up into that little area of that fairway to the right-hand side. So, to the left-hand side, you really got to pack a good wood club with a lot of distance. So, like the Big Dog or the Cataclysm, this is definitely a hole where you want to bring a power ball, especially in the lower level divisions. And it's a shot that's going to require some right-hand spin. Depending on the wind we have, the top spins will vary for the shot, but you're also going to probably need a little bit of right curl as well to bounce this ball on the fairway and get it moving in the right direction towards the green. So if you play the shot to the right-hand side, you can either try to go for this rough bump right there, or you could take a wood club like maybe the Guardian with a lot of backspin and bounce it on the fairway before the green. It'll go up to the green, and then that backspin will pull it back down to the hole. For the possible albatross, this is definitely not a hole where you will see a lot of albatrosses. You will see a lot of people just trying to take their eagle, get their eagle, and then move on, if I had to guess on the hole. But yeah, this is going to be a fun hole for sure. And depending on what wind they give us, they could really decide to make this one a really tough one during the tournament. Hole number 7 here. Our first Drew Moore Links hole. We'll play this one at plus 20% off the tee. And for the rookies, you're playing with a long iron hop over shot, where you're going to bounce it over the bunker and the rough, land it on the green, and hopefully roll it into the hole. If I remember correctly, there was not a lot of spin on this shot. And I could be wrong, but just my memory is telling me this was not a hole that required a ton of spin in the lower divisions. Now, in the Expert and the Pro, you had the same available shot here with the bounce over, but then you also had the rough bump shot, which was a possibility as well, which definitely, I think, required like a wind 5 ball was the safest and best way to play that one. And I would say the rough bump would definitely be very dependent on wind direction as well, and it's definitely going to be a very risky shot because that little area of rough is very narrow. So anything great left or great right could definitely put you in a bad spot. So for most people, you're going to be playing the sniper shot, where you're bouncing it over and just trying to figure out those spins towards the hole. Once again, I don't believe it was a total, a whole lot of spin, and it was something like a 1-to-1 adjustment or something like that along those lines. Hole number 8, another Drew Moore Links hole. And this one right here is one that is very easy to dial in. This is one that you'll be keeping up with your yardage markers for sure, because you'll be playing either your shot here to bounce over. We're trying to get up into this zone right here off the tees. So either, your extra mile. I like to use a control club more for this hole, so like a rock or a quarterback is definitely a great option. Whatever can give you the most consistent setup on the drive to get you to the same 2 or 3 yard area for your second shot is going to be the best way to go here. And then once you find your proper club distance and the spins needed, you can drop it. You really want to try to be somewhere where you're right at max distance because you want to land it right up here along the edge of that rough line with top spin with the probably the Hornet, I would say, or if you want to go for a shot where you bounce over from one fairway to the next and try to roll into the hole, then the Thorn may be a good option for you to play that way. There's also another way you can play it to the left-hand side. If we get some really good tailwind, you can play some sort of a power curl shot where you bounce it off the fairway and you roll it up here. You want that second bounce to be in the rough, to just be able to trickle out onto the green or even the fairway section around the hole. And I know there were quite a few people that were playing that shot that way. Definitely a riskier shot in my opinion, but if you're someone that's comfortable with overpower shots and being able to hit that perfect on the needle, then that's definitely a good option for you as well. I want to say even in the rookie, people were pulling out berserker balls. If you had higher level rookie clubs, you could do the same shot and get to the rough. I think you could even play the shot to bounce in here with enough topspin and hit and roll over as well. So there's just all different kinds of ways to play this hole. To me, I like to try to play a hole a way that's going to give me the most consistent chance to drop it on the most consistent basis. And to me, playing it to the right and then dialing in the rough bump was the way to go last tournament. And as long as you hit perfect, your chances of dropping that shot were pretty much 100%. And that's the way I played it. But other people have success in different ways to play it as well. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of wind we get, and then we can decide what way we will play it. Oh man, look at this hole 9. This hole right here is the shot where you bounce it off of this area right here and try to bowl it into the rocks to roll out to the fairway. This is a crazy shot right here, and 0% for the elevation here is how it was played. And the second shot is also 0% as well to the green. Now, the way I like to play it was to lay it up here. Just lay it up here, and then take your second shot with Big Dog or Cataclysm over the rough, land it here, and then roll it towards the hole. To me, I don't know, that hook shot kind of scared me, because if you weren't very accurate on your hook shot, then you ended up in this water here quite a bit, or even maybe this bunker over here to the left as well. So we'll have to wait and see. This is definitely another interesting hole. It's really kind of hard to predict how it's going to be played until we really see what kind of wind that we have. But, I know a lot of people were playing the shot up in here, and then they had a really nice sniper to the hole from there. So, I mean, if you want to try to play that shot where you bounce it over the rocks and then land and roll out, it's definitely there. And I'm sure they're going to give us some sort of a wind to entice us to try to play that shot as well, if I had to guess. So the last hole I said is plus 10% for the drive, and then for the second shot, if you're farther back in the fairway, it's going to be a plus 10%. But if you're farther up in the fairway playing the shot, then we played it at plus 0% from what I remember. So it's definitely dependent on where you can get on your drive as to how you're going to play that shot for your second shot. So anyways, that was it for the info and mini playthrough, talk through. Definitely encourage you to check us out on Facebook at Golf Clash the 19th Hole. Those involved in our expert page, definitely want to give them a big shout out and props. You've got Alex Wheels, Kime, Fenzel, Michael Bolton, and then the Spider Ladies group is very instrumental in helping craft these shots, practice them, use their accounts to practice them, and then give you that information from what we find. So it's a process, and definitely happy to help. All right, y'all, have a great day. God bless.